My fondest postseason baseball memory is very hard because I am a Pirates fan, which means in my lifetime, there's one. And that would be the 2013 wildcard game.
My fondest postseason memory happened in the fall of 2013 in the American League Championship Series between the Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers.
Most recently, I was at the wildcard game, the NL wildcard game, where the Nats beat the Brewers.
So I've never lived in Pittsburgh. I kind of fell in love with this team kind of because they were bad in like the mid 2000s. But I got really, really into them. And many of my friends knew me as a giant Pirates fan. So in 2013, when they went to the wildcard game, I was living in Los Angeles, and a group of about 10 people who I'd say half of them kind of cared about baseball, the other half were kind of just there for me, all went to this bar near my house in Hollywood. It was kind of like a party for me. Like I had a hand in them winning more than 80 games that year.
A friend of mine texted me, he was like, hey, I have an extra ticket to game 2 of the ALCS. Do you want to come? Come on up to Boston. We can go to the game. I was like, yes, obviously I want to go. This is going to be awesome. Unfortunately, in game 1, the Red Sox nearly got no hit and lost, and it was really embarrassing and painful. And I was a little worried going to the game that I might be jinxing the team or something, and I was a little worried, but I was like, you know what? No, it's fine. I'll go.
That is probably the coolest postseason game I've ever been to because it was one game, the stakes were so high, and it turned so late in the game that I got to see the energy in the stadium flip on a dime.
And we were there and we're cheering. I'm in a Pirate shirt. I made my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, wear a Pirate shirt of mine. Hi, I'm wife guy. My friends, I gave like hats too, so we were all like decked out in stuff, and the game is on, and it was just this party atmosphere. Like, oh my God, it's finally happened. 8 years of following this team, and there's finally a playoff game. But if they lose, they go home and it's over. Like, I had ordered the playoff hats and everything, and they would not arrive for another week. So if they lost, I would just get all this stuff that was like a cruel reminder of the loss. So we're watching the game, and that game is famous for the Cueto, Cueto, Cueto chants that led to Johnny Cueto dropping the ball. So the Cueto, Cueto, Cueto chants, the Reds pitcher was Johnny Cueto, and he was on the mound, and so everyone in Pittsburgh was wearing the black jerseys. They wanted to have a blackout, and so everyone was in black, and it was like, let's freak the pitcher out by just cheering his name, like Cueto, Cueto. And we all saw this group of like 10 of us, Cueto dropped the ball. It's like, we did it! Like, we're not there, but the people in the stands willed it, and we like gave our like spiritual energy from like across the planet to make this happen. And that was when it was like, yes, 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 the Pirates are gonna win the game. I think Russell Martin homered right after that. We lost our minds. So like the whole night to me, honestly feels like sort of like a New Year's Eve, where it's just this like giant party that kind of like all got centered around this baseball game, and it was just absolutely amazing.
We go have dinner, we start to walk. He lives within walking distance of Fenway Park, so we're walking there. People are excited. There's like energy going on in Boston that night. People are hyped. We get into the stadium, and there's no one actually sitting in the seating bowl. And I thought that was kind of weird, but on the concourse, it was completely jammed in shoulder to shoulder with people. And when I looked up on the television, I realized it was because the New England Patriots were playing that night. They were playing the New Orleans Saints, and Tom Brady was leading the Patriots on a comeback, I think it was Monday Night Football, against the Saints. And they finally pull it off, and they win this game. They were down, they come back, they win. So people are just absolutely losing their minds with excitement because they are Boston fans. Their king, Tom Brady, just like won this football game for them, and they're like, all right, that happened. You know what? Yeah, we almost got no hit last night, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna win this game. And sure enough, they were getting no hit again through 5 innings. And Max Scherzer was pitching, and it was a disaster, an embarrassment. And I was talking to my friend, I was really miserable and sad. And we were both like, yeah, this is awful. I can't believe we're here at this game and the Red Sox are losing and they're getting no hit. This is awful. And all of a sudden the conversation starts to drift because you don't really, you're kind of numb in that moment to being no hit. We're talking about David Ortiz. We're like, he's like the clutchest guy in the history of the Red Sox, one of the clutchest people in the history of baseball. Like, all they need to do is just give him the opportunity tonight. He'll make magic happen. They just have to get him the opportunity. Lo and behold, the 8th inning rolls around in this game, and what do? They load the bases against 4 different Tigers bullpen pitchers. And up steps one man, David Ortiz. And everyone in the stadium, we're all looking at each other while the Tigers go to yet another bullpen arm. And everyone's like, wouldn't it be something if he hits a grand slam right now and ties this game? Like, wouldn't that be crazy if that happened? And everyone's just talking about it. People are excited. They're feeling it. Like, it's gonna happen.
Hard hit into right. Back at the wall. Tie game! Big Poppy. The grand slam.
And pandemonium just completely overwhelms the entirety of Fenway Park. People are screaming. I'm hugging strangers that I've never met before. Whoever came up next immediately made it out. And it didn't matter though, because in that moment, it was like, we're gonna win this game. Nothing else has mattered. Like, we're absolutely gonna win this game. And then sure enough, bottom of the 9th, Jared Saltonaki gets the walk-off hit. And it was just like, but the reason this sticks out in my mind is it's the one time that everyone was like, that guy, that's the guy. He's gonna hit a grand slam. And then he did.
So what happened is that the Brewers jumped out to an early lead and people were starting to get kind of depressed. I was sitting in the press box with Cut 4's very own Jess Whitney, and then all of a sudden we noticed that the Nats had managed to get some runners into scoring position, and then 20-year-old Juan Soto came up to the plate, and we thought, oh. People are jumping up out of their seats. Like, the press box there it's exposed to the open air, so we could see people below us just like throwing things in the air. And then we decided at that moment that we needed to like get down into the concourse. So we were like running down like 4 flights of stairs. Everywhere you went, it was like this very strange Looney Tune where you could just hear screaming as you rounded every landing. So it'd be really quiet, and then you get to the next door and just screaming, and then the next door, and then even more screaming. Everybody in the stands was screaming. Wolf Blitzer was there. It was incredibly weird. And also, people were just overjoyed because the Nats have not had great postseason luck. So to get that win, I think, and to have really stayed in the fight, that was really cool. That was really cool to see. When I was 20 years old, I was certainly not winning a wild card game single-handedly, essentially. At the age of 20, I may not have had the mental toughness to win a World Series, but I definitely had the brave stupidity. Like, I think I would have convinced myself that I could do it. Now I'm too scared. I'm old now.